Today, we're diving into a story out of South Africa that is just unbelievably shocking. It's a case of alleged betrayal and insurance fraud on a massive scale. We're going to explore the story of Agnes Setshwanso, a woman accused of preying on her closest family members, turning them into financial assets in the most chilling way possible.
Now, to really understand the gravity of these allegations and why they sent such shockwaves through the country, we have to look back at another case, one that's still fresh in everyone's memory and provides a truly chilling parallel.
You might remember the name Rosemary Ndlovu. Just 2 years ago, she was sentenced for murdering her family members for insurance payouts. Well, now the name Agnes Setshwanso has emerged, and the state alleges she followed a terrifyingly similar playbook, turning her loved ones into liabilities.
So where did this all start to fall apart for her? The whole web of allegations began to publicly unravel with one specific tragic event, the death of Setshwanso's niece, a woman named Bonolo Mudimang.
Okay, so here's how it allegedly went down. In August of 2022, Agnes asks her niece for a copy of her ID, saying it's for a job opportunity. A little later that month, she gives her a sandwich. The very next day, Bonolo eats it, gets violently ill, and, this is a key detail, at Agnes's insistence, she's taken to a private doctor. A few hours later, she was declared dead from natural causes. While Bonolo's family was reeling from the loss, her husband got a phone call. A call that would turn all that grief into deep, dark suspicion. It was an insurance company.
And they were calling about a 3 million rand life insurance policy on Bonolo's life, a policy her own husband knew absolutely nothing about. So the big question was, who took it out?
Well, investigators allege it was a pretty calculated fraud. They claim Agnes actually impersonated Bonolo to take out the policy. And crucially, she named herself as the sole beneficiary, completely cutting out Bonolo's husband, her child, and her parents.
With all this suspicion swirling, Bonolo's body was exhumed, and a new post-mortem examination completely overturned that initial finding of natural causes. The new, official suspected cause of death? Poisoning. The case was now officially a murder investigation.
And this was the turning point. Right then, investigators started to suspect that Bonolo's death wasn't just a one-off tragedy. It might be part of a much larger and far more disturbing pattern.
And when I say a pattern, I mean, look at this. The sheer scale is just staggering. Investigators uncovered that Agnes had allegedly taken out policies on a shocking number of relatives, over 40 people. This included her own son and her late husband, Justice. One of her relatives, Boitumelo, even found out there was a 2 million rand policy on her head.
This discovery led investigators to look backwards in time, all the way to 2015. That's when her husband, Justice, a police officer with more than 2 decades on the force, died. And his family had always found the circumstances suspicious, claiming Agnes isolated him from them after they got married in secret.
This family feud got so bad it actually spilled out into public. And this is where the story gets really bizarre. Agnes and her son went on a national television show called Moja Love to try and sort out the dispute with her in-laws. On that very show, when she was asked about her husband's death, she told the host and the entire country watching that Justice had died from epilepsy. It was a claim his family never, ever believed. And here's where the story takes its most heartbreaking turn. The very same son who sat beside her on television, defending her against the family, would allegedly become the next victim.
In July of 2023, he passed away. A post-mortem was done, and the finding was chillingly familiar: suspected poisoning. The exact same suspected cause of death as his cousin, Bonolo.
Not long after her son died, Agnes allegedly filed another insurance claim. This one was for 6 million rand. But this time, it did not go unnoticed. This was the move that would finally trigger her downfall.
At this point, a renowned private investigator named Keshi Mabunda is on the case, and he sees this massive 6 million rand claim as the perfect opportunity to set a trap.
The plan was simple, but so effective. They set up an appointment for Agnes to come into an insurance office to finalize the payout. Investigators went undercover, just posing as regular office workers. And sure enough, Agnes walked right in, ready to collect the money.
And at that moment, Keshi Mabunda stepped forward. He introduced himself, showed her his credentials, and informed her of her rights. The trap had sprung perfectly.
And just like that, in November 2023, Agnes Setshwanso was taken into custody.
right there in that insurance office, caught in the very act of trying to claim the money from her son's death. So with the investigation wrapped up and Agnes behind bars, the case moves out of the shadows and into the stark, bright light of a courtroom.
As it stands, she's facing 2 counts of murder. For her niece and her son, 1 count of fraud and 1 count of defeating the ends of justice. That last one is for allegedly working with a doctor to falsify a death certificate.
Now, her husband Justice's body has also been exhumed, and while she isn't currently charged with his murder, his family, alongside Bonolo's, is desperately hoping this trial will finally bring them the truth they've been searching for years.
The case of Agnes Sechwanso is so much more than just a true crime story. It's a really chilling look at the ultimate betrayal, and it leaves all of us with a pretty haunting question. If you can't trust your own family, who is there left to trust?